D.A.P. Please do me the favor and like the page, share the page. An exclusive interview with my man John Robertson. Yeah. Welcome once again to D.A.P. Please do me the favor, share the page. We're on in 20 seconds. An exclusive interview with my man, John Robertson. He's here. And you will be the first one to get this information here in your community and possibly communities abroad. Much love and respect. Thank you for tuning in once again to that. We really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. First, I want to say about the AWA celebration that's coming up September the 1st. I would like for you to be a part of it. We're taking donations. Donations for AWA Celebration 2024. It's going to be at Liberty Park, 5 Conrad Drive, in Liberty Park area. So make sure you get there. If you want to support, once again, the Cash App is $DA-Barber201. We are getting trophies. We are trying to have, get the food right and all that good stuff, and a whole bunch of games and activities going on that day. You got to make sure you be a part of this. So thank you so much for those who already supported. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, that's out the way. Don't forget the Supreme Sunshine Shea Butter. Yeah, King Blessings. Smells good, man. Real good smell. Yeah, man. So, I hope everybody's fine, and I hope you got your popcorn, whatever you eat, whatever you drink. Right now, I got my almond milk, freshly made from myself. It's really good. It got a little cinnamon in it. I have, what else in it? Just cinnamon, basically. Just cinnamon, yeah. Just cinnamon, water, and natural almonds. Chopped up, juiced down, yeah. Okay, you all have been waiting. For those who haven't shared the page yet, If you can do me the favor and share the page, I really appreciate it. And if you can hear me, I would like to know if you can by putting the 1 in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me, please. If you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me. Peace and blessings to all the good energy people. I'm still waiting to know if you're able to hear me. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Someone hit me and said they can hear me. Appreciate it so much. Means a lot. Don't want to be up here talking, running my mouth, and there is no sound. That's not a good feeling. That's really not a good feeling. I've done it before, trust me. Yeah. So we want to get right to the subject, but I want to wait until a few more people chime in. That's what I want to do. So if you're here, tap on the video. Don't just watch from afar. Don't just watch from afar. Peace and blessings to all the good energy people. Good afternoon on this beautiful Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Okay, cool. Definitely Tuesday. All right. Now, first, I want to welcome my man, John. Please say what's up, John.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for having me on your podcast. Much appreciated, and looking forward to chopping it up with you.
All right. That's what's up. My man, John, in the house. Good brother. I've known him for a little while, and yeah, he's a good dude. I can definitely vouch for that. Stand on business, I would say. I would say John definitely stands on business.
Appreciate that.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Okay, first I want to get right to this interview, man. I want to get right to it. So, first of all, where you originally from? Originally. Okay, so originally born in Connecticut, landed in Brooklyn, stumbled and fell in Jersey. So I've been in Jersey City, starting from like the age of maybe about 10 or so. So 10, going on, just a Jersey City native. Had to take a couple of spells, in different places for high school, for college, for graduate school, but Jersey City is my city. I claim it, so that's where I was raised. Yep. That's what's up.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. And you went to school in Jersey City, you said? What school, high school did you go to?
So high school, my freshman year, I was at St. Peter's Prep. And then I actually got accepted to this other preparatory school out in Lawrenceville. So sophomore year through senior year, I was out at Lawrenceville Preparatory School out in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Shout out to them.
No doubt. Now, what's the difference between Lawrenceville and Jersey City, would you say?
So, I mean, it's a huge difference. I mean, you figure like, when I left Jersey City, we were still dealing with the crack epidemic. The crack epidemic there was no epidemic out in Lawrenceville. So it was, actually, I can't hear myself now, so I'm not sure.
Can you hear yourself now?
No.
Go ahead.
There we go. All right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so out in Lawrenceville, I actually lived on campus, just like you would with college and everything. So I lived on campus, went to school out there. We had this round table approach as far as education. So, a lot of this stuff, like whether it was math, English, psychology, whatever else, science, we were actually, it was a discussion, so that round table approach really helped in learning and kind of growing and things like that. And, it was really different from Jersey City, which is the traditional, not knocking it, but it was a traditional kind of way of education where, you got the teacher up front and then you got the classrooms and stuff like that. Yeah. There were a lot of distractions in Jersey City also at the time, so when I was able to transition out to Lawrenceville, there were a lot less distractions. I was able to focus on sports and then also just learning and, just being a kid, being a teenager, Yep.
So the distractions, how so? Distractions. What type of distractions would you say there was here in Jersey City versus your other town?
I mean, one of the distractions that I had mentioned before was, I mean, just the crack epidemic. I mean, that was a huge distraction because everywhere you went, you always had to think about, okay, well, who's going to be here? You may want to go play basketball with your friends, but one of the friends had a beef with, some set on at another place, and are they going to be there? Is something going to pop off? Can you go to this particular area of the city at this particular time because certain people may be there? So there was like this kind of unwritten rule about where you could and where you couldn't go, versus Lawrenceville, where I was at. You just go wherever. You could just be a kid. You could just do whatever you needed to do.
Big difference.
Yep.
Do you think that's a lot of pressure on kids today? Basically, not being able to do what they want to do and have those distractions. That's a big pressure, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a big pressure even now. We're in 2024, so even now it's a huge deal. And that's one of the things about. And I'm not going to jump too far ahead, but that's one of the things about some of the entrepreneurial stuff that I do, wanting to create like these safe spaces for kids to just rock out and be kids, for teenagers just rock out and be teenagers. However whatever form it's going to take place.
Makes sense.
Just you be your 14-year-old self, your 12-year-old self, your 18-year-old self.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So speaking of entrepreneurship, you basically are an entrepreneur, and when did you start in the entrepreneurship?
All right, so I would say probably when I was about 19 years old, I started. My father was into real estate, and so me and one of my actually still my best friend, actually now, we started getting into real estate, and we read up on it, and we kind of listened to my father at the time, as far as property ownership. He started teaching us about stock options, and things like that. So probably like right around that time, about 18 years old, 19 years old.
Wow. Yep. So I mean, that's a long time. You put in a lot of work for all those years,
yes,
especially
sir.
Speaking of stocks and options and all that stuff. So you might consider yourself, or we may consider you, one of those, what they call them, valuable top tier brothers. By now, is that right? Could we say that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess depends on what kind of measuring stick you're using, right. But certainly based off of a lot of the criteria, I'd probably slip into that category. Yes, certainly.
Was it difficult for you, growing up and basically coming to Jersey City, the drastic change that you had? How was it? How did it feel to be in a whole different environment? Certain parts of the city, growing up around certain younger people, you had to be, to be down, you had to be in the clique or be cool with people, and you had to have a certain. So I know, coming from that area where you wasn't the cool guy, was you, or not?
From which area?
Where you lived the first time, when you grew up at?
Oh, in Connecticut?
Yeah.
So right. So Connecticut. I mean, I was born in a rural area of Connecticut, but when I started getting maybe like 7 years old, I was already in the city of Connecticut.
Okay.
So I was in Bridgeport. So it was basically the same, it was a little bit watered down compared to Brooklyn. Yeah. But I was back and forth between Bridgeport and Brooklyn a lot anyway. So for several years before I just ended up making the transition there. So really, by the time I came to Jersey City was bad, but it wasn't nearly as bad as Brooklyn. Right. So I had already been acclimated. I was, I was fine. I could, talk the talk, be with whatever. I already knew how to,
okay.
If we need to throw hands, we need to throw hands. Whatever we needed to do, So I was already,
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. So, entrepreneurship, and then what made you get into? Because everybody. Just so everybody know, he's a scientist as well.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing, man. We don't get that many people coming from what we call the neighborhoods, the hoods, to be go into the area of being a scientist, whatever scientist there is, food scientist, as far as medical, whatever it's gonna be. So, what type of science did you study?
So I studied biological sciences at first, but also I did a lot with biochemistry.
Right.
So biological sciences, biochemistry, and then for my master's degree, it was engineering. So
Nice.
I master's in engineering. So I studied that, and my area of expertise as far as engineering is pharmaceutical manufacturing. So just about the making of the drugs, or the different devices, or whatever. When you go to a doctor, you feel sick, and they say, hey, take some of this, or they say, hey, we're going to get this kind of knee brace or whatever. So there's an actual engineering component behind a lot of that kind of stuff. So
Right.
that's what my focus was for graduate school.
Nice.
And then once I stepped into my actual science career, where I was actually working, making money and everything, I really enjoyed, like I said, biochemistry, but more so cell biology and neuroscience. So my first job as an intern when I was at Rutgers University was actually in the Department of Cell Biology and Neuroscience. Nice. So I was performing experiments and things like that, working with serotonin. That's a neurotransmitter. That's actually one of the neurotransmitters, how they say chemicals that's partly responsible for like whether you feel anxious, whether you're feeling depressed, something like that. So I was working with you all may know it as Prozac, so I was working with Prozac and mice and rats and things like that.
Okay.
So,
wow.
yep. And then I transitioned to oncology. So oncology is the study of cancer. So for the bulk of my 25 years as a scientist, I've been working in the field of oncology and doing consulting work in oncology, which is cancer. I've dabbled in some other areas like dermatology, which is skin, immunology, which is your immune system, endocrinology, which is your endocrine system. That has to do with hormones and things like that. So I've dabbled in those because they all have to do with the body, with cancer. Yep,
that's what's
absolutely.
Up. Wow, man,
Yep.
that's amazing, brother. That's amazing. That's great information, brother. It's good to know that you have, you're very well learned, very well studied, brother. That's a blessing.
Yeah, thanks,
So
man.
what made you want to basically for you guys that's listening, John is trying to basically open a center. And the center is in Jersey City.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to create this community center that you're working on? You're trying to create a community system. Tell us about that.
Sure,
what made you want to do this?
Right. So one of the things was, as I was going through school, whether it was just in undergraduate at Rutgers University or even in graduate school, I noticed that there wasn't a representation of black folk.
Yeah.
Occasionally, especially once you got past like your like science 101 kind of classes like
Right.
biology, chemistry 101. Once you got into physics and then into organic chemistry, certainly into biochemistry and all those 300, 400 level kinds of science classes, and then in graduate school, our representation as black folk, it got smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So and the black people that you would see, a lot of times they were from the continent,
Right.
and not knocking anything with that,
Right,
but just coming out of, say, a black boy coming out of Jersey City,
Yeah.
or coming out of Brooklyn, or
You see that
whatever,
often.
there's not many of us,
Right.
So one of the things that I wanted to do was with the community center. So it's Gotta Go Gaming Hub and SciTech Learning Center. So that's the community center that I'm opening up on 126 Linden Avenue.
That's what's up.
I wanted to provide the communities that have been historically excluded from STEM and STEAM. So STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. So I wanted to be able to provide those communities with either no cost or very, very low cost programming, so that way they can have the exposure that they need and not be locked out of a lot of these science industries. So that's really the driving force behind it. There need to be more Johns, and there need to be more ones that come out and can tell that kind of story about being able to come from, say, like a disadvantaged background, but making their way through science and everything through this kind of exposure and through different programs.
Makes sense. That's deep, brother. That's deep. Next question, my brother. I'm just going to go through some questions real quick.
Fire it off. Let's do it.
No doubt. So, Let's see here. Can you tell us about the mission and the vision of your center? What's going to be involved in that center?
Yeah, definitely. So right now we have. I mean, right now we're doing the renovations and everything, but it's going to be beautiful right there on Linden Avenue. The mission is, we want to be able to expose children in the community to STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We want to be able to expose them to that. We want to be able to provide them and equip them with the knowledge that they're actually going to need, so that they can go into these different higher education programs that will eventually land them jobs, whether it be in IT, whether it be in other areas of computer science. Maybe it's in oncology, maybe it is in immunology, maybe it's with UMD&J, maybe someone wants to go get a doctorate degree or something like that, but giving them that exposure. The vision is basically we want to, we're just envisioning being able to help create the next generation of scientists that come from areas that have been historically excluded from there. So that's really what that is, and kind of with that we're gonna have different programs like the community center, and I know I sent over some pictures, some renders and everything, and it's also available, if anybody wants to see it at any point. But we have a couple of different classrooms there for just regular STEAM learning. We're going to have a room for virtual reality. We're going to have a room for esports. So that's gaming, but there's an educational aspect to gaming. There's also gaming design, gaming development. There's graphic arts. There's a lot of different things. So we're going to be teaching all those kinds of things there. Robotics, biological sciences, and with those programs, it'll be able to help our mission, help our vision.
Nice. Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. So I guess you found the building already. You got the building, and you basically was doing a lot of work in this building. I mean, you started the work, or what? Tell me about that. How was that going into this building, and putting this thing together?
Right. So no, it actually happened, it was really God, like with the timing and everything. I was able to connect actually the late and the great Coach C, shout out to him.
Wow, because my man, Coach C.
Yes. Definitely hashtag GOAT. He was definitely a GOAT. For sure. And
definitely.
He actually introduced me to Tori Wallace, who's a realtor with Signature Realty, and I explained to her the vision and the mission and everything, what I was trying to do, and she was we stumbled across this building. And the building was going through, not quite in foreclosure, but going through some foreclosure type of stuff, some pre-foreclosure. Okay. So we were able to actually acquire the building, and we got in there. We were thinking that everything was going to be pretty good. It was just like a regular, we were going to do a little touch up here and there. So and then we started looking at and. The building was like leaning. Wow. It was like the leaning tower of Linden Avenue. And so we had to do a bunch of structural work, a bunch of demolition and things like that. And now we're in the process, we're just going through the permitting process of like putting up the walls and just different things. So that's where we are right now. So it's taken a little bit longer, but that's because we didn't want the building to be collapsing on our students. You know what I mean?
Looking at these pictures right here, tell me when what was your feeling going into this and seeing the work, the beginning parts of the work. What was your feeling here?
My feeling was like, Lord Jesus, you got to help me. Give me strength as one of the management team, Arcia Williams. She says, Jesus be a fence. And so I
got holes in the floor.
There's holes in the ceiling, so holes in the floor.
So you had to have a really powerful determination.
Right.
After seeing all of this right here and saying, I'm still going to do this no matter what.
Yeah, and I had to because, like the youth need this.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean they need this kind of building. They need this kind of place where they can go to, a safe space where they can, you know, and I know that there's a lot of other, you know, not-for-profits, 501c3s that are doing awesome things, great things. You know, but our kids need something that is STEAM focused, that's STEM focused, where they can go in. It's a community center. It's just like a community center, but it's going to have a special spin to it, a special twist, which is going to help propel them through the sciences and everything. And like, if not now, then when? You know, I remember. Let's see. I was before I. Let's see. I'm 46 now. Okay. So for 46 years, this has not been done.
Wow.
You know, and so I don't. If I didn't do it, I don't know when it would get done.
Got it.
You know, there is a Liberty Science Center, and shout out to them and everything. You know, again, you know, our community center is going to, you know, the doors are going to be open to everyone who can afford it and who might struggle to afford it. So we got to make it equitable. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So
this is very nice, brother. I see it coming together now, and you really got the beams up and all that good stuff. Everything rocking. Yeah, man, it's beautiful, man. So those who are checking this out, look at the progress this company has been making. Gotta Go Gaming Hub.
Gotta Go Gaming Hub. Yes.
Yep. So, how long would it take now to finish this project?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question. So, let me not say the original date. The last date that I was given was like mid-November. Okay. That was right before there was another 2 weeks of delays. So I have to talk with the contractor and the architect about what this new date is. You know, we're probably looking towards like the end of November, maybe beginning of December or something like that. Now what that means is the work will probably be done maybe in September, maybe late September, maybe beginning of October. But then we have to get our certificate of occupancy and everything from the city, and it has to pass all the inspections and everything, you know, just to say that, like, we're good, we're legit.
Okay. Wow, okay. Interesting, brother. This is nice, brother. I gotta say, this is nice. So, let's see some other pictures. Let's check out some other pictures now.
It's actually 3,700 square feet.
Walk us through this right now. Walk us through this, what you see here.
All right, so this is, I think that's the beginning, or maybe that's the end. That's the back part. That's going to be the large space where the esports, the codathons, the roboticathons, all those kinds of things are going to be kept in there. That's a huge space. Right. The next room there that's going to be our virtual reality room. So a lot of things with virtual reality, augmented reality, you know, mixed reality, extended reality, all those kinds of things are going to be housed in probably in that kind of room. We're also going to be doing some stuff with digital arts and everything in that room as well.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, definitely coming together, brother. Definitely coming together.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
When you walk down that hall a little bit more towards the front, you're gonna see that's an office area. You know, just a small office.
Okay.
And then there's an area for the mainframe. Then you have 2 large classrooms. So you're gonna have 2 large classrooms there, where that's the mainframe. Yeah, that's the mainframe room right there.
Okay. All right. How do you integrate esports into the broader STEAM curriculum?
Yep. No, great question. So I would say this was a few years ago. I was involved with a boot camp, a STEM boot camp.
Got it.
So what we did was it was a 3-week long boot camp. We did 2 cohorts. So we did 2 different sessions, and we taught block-based coding. And what we used was we use gaming themes to help with that. So what do I mean by gaming themes? So there's coding. There's everybody knows what coding is. It's the language that computers speak.
Use, right.
And sometimes it can get really complex, but Microsoft actually has a program that has gaming themes, so video game themes. There's this really popular video game called Minecraft. In Minecraft, what you have to do is you have to move. You can collect certain things, like you can say dig in a mountain and collect rock. You may be able to dig a little bit more and collect gold. You can come across a tree and you can kind of dig it and you can collect wood. And that allows, and then you can go and you can move it around and you can build certain things. So what Microsoft did was they actually took that and they made it so that you can move blocks of coding around to build code. So what we did was we use gaming themes, and then we use coding. And so we taught kids how to actually write code or to build code based off of this really popular video game. And so you have this collection of people who can they can write code, they can build code. If you just give them the right learning tools, the right platform to learn in, they can actually take what they love about video games and also take that same problem solving skills, the visualizations, and then they can use it for IT stuff, for computer science. We're working on some things for biological sciences, basically taking the same thing of gaming themes and also science and putting them together, so we can do it that way. Also, just on a regular surface level, like you can take the making of video games. That's digital arts. That's graphic design. That's coding. That's programming. So you have that connection also, where you have gaming or you have esports, and then you also have STEAM as well.
Nice, brother. Nice. Definitely a great thing, brother. It seems like you have a lot of compassion, when it comes to kids. I noticed that through the years. I've known you for a little while, and it seems like you have a lot of compassion when it comes to the kids and the future of the kids. What gave you that compassion? I heard you spoken about your dad.
Yes.
Do your dad have a lot to do with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my father, God rest his soul, he did a lot of things with the kids in the neighborhood as we were coming up, he used to call me his main man. So we were, we were like, hanging around together all the time, So we spent a lot of time together, and I had other, they weren't really blood relatives, but other kids around and everything. So even my best friend now is closer than my brother. We spent a lot of time with my father. So I kind of developed it from that. Just kind of giving back. And then I just kind of stumbled into, one day I needed, I was just working on starting a family and trying to save up and stuff like that. I said, oh man, I need to get me a little side hustle, a little second job. And I started working for I don't think they're around now, but they were called the Youth Advocate Program. And they worked a lot with YCS, actually. So I started doing some work with the Youth Advocate Program, and I was working with teens, kids that were, on, not on the spectrum. Well, some of them were on the spectrum, actually, but then also considered at risk. I don't think that that's